So there's a lot of controversy on whether raising a family here in Las Vegas is really a good or bad idea. In this video, we're going to go over the pros and cons of raising a family here in Las Vegas. And to make it even better, I'm going to share with you my own perspective as a mother. Let's get into it. Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time to my channel, my name is Erica Lamar. I'm a local real estate professional as well as a real estate investor here in the Las Vegas Valley. So if you have any questions or concerns about moving to Las Vegas or its surrounding areas in the near future, my team and I are here to help you make that smooth transition to beautiful Las Vegas. All of my contact information is in the description below. Feel free to reach out at any time. You guys know I love hearing from you. All right, let's get into it. So pro number one, and this makes the top of my list because my husband and both my sons say I'm very frugal, so I love all things free. There's a ton of free things to do here in Las Vegas. They are either free or very low cost. So of course, there's hundreds of parks here in the Las Vegas Valley. Just in Summerlin alone, there's over 250 parks. So every park has a little bit of a different theme going on. If you go up to the Centennial Hills Park, there's a whole obstacle course. And if you want a adorable dinosaur theme park, well, that's going to be found there at Aliante in North Las Vegas. So many fun things to do. Now, every what seems to be month, quarter, or even semi-annual, and then also annually, there's different social and family community events happening. Those are generally very low cost and they're usually seasonal, but they are a ton of fun. Pro number two is there is a ton of classes, courses, and programs geared towards kids' development. Now, this one to me is huge, especially during the summertime, because I need to find my son something to keep him preoccupied or he's going to drive me nuts. So there are both STEAM and STEM classes. So that really stands for science, technology, engineering, and if you add the A in there, arts, and then math. So there are so many of these types of classes, courses, and programs scattered throughout the Las Vegas Valley. Now, if you don't necessarily want to get into that, there's also cooking classes, there's writing classes, there's speech classes, leadership classes, coding classes, which really belongs to engineering. But my point is, there's a lot of different things that are for their growth and development that you can enroll them in. Pro number three is there is a wide variety of different sports here in Las Vegas that your kids can join. So this is actually a huge deal. When I first moved here in 2001, when I was 13 from Okinawa, Japan, there wasn't a ton of sports available for kids, but now there is. And there's also something even better. My son really is trying to figure out what he wants to do. But instead of enrolling him into a whole season and forcing him to do something he doesn't want to do, there is a program called the National Sports Little League where your kids can enroll in a sport for only 2 months at a time. This really allows them to tap their feet into the water before taking a whole dive for a season. But to give you a concept, an idea of how many sports there are, what kind of sports there are, there's everything. We even have hockey in the desert. In case you haven't heard, we have one of the best hockey teams in Las Vegas called the Golden Knights. So we have hockey, soccer, baseball, basketball, volleyball, lacrosse. I mean, the list goes on. It is a very family-friendly sports environment. Pro number four is because Las Vegas is a mega melting pot, the kids get to grow up in a diverse cultural and ethnic environment. So people come to Las Vegas from somewhere else. So everybody is usually from a different ethnic background or culturally diverse. So they are coming here and celebrating their ethnicities and cultural differences. Now, Las Vegas is really big on showcasing how diverse it is because we have all these different festivities and food festivals catered towards different backgrounds. So for example, we have the Great Taco Festival, which showcases the Hispanic community. We have the Great Greek Festival, and we have the Aloha Festival, among so many others. Now, these are great because they really create a very impactful environment along with great memories so kids can really tap into the different cultures around the world. Pro number five is Las Vegas is surrounded by different natural wonders. Now, this one to me is so big because I have a hard time ripping my son away from the iPad and the Xbox, but what really does get him into it is I ask him if he wants to go explore the different wonders and nature. So within Las Vegas alone, we of course have Mount Charleston, there's the Red Rock Canyons, and if you like the water, there is the Colorado River. Now, if you want to explore outside of the Las Vegas Valley, there's the Joshua Tree, Valley of Fire, Grand Canyon, and so many others. And pro number 6, my last pro. Now, my son asked me to include this one because he said it's a big deal to him. He said, well, there's actually a bunch of kids discounts. Either kids get a mega discount or they get things for free. So that's a big deal. All right, so to every yin, there's a yang. So let's talk about the bad. Con number 1 is there's a lot of exposure to vices here in Las Vegas, and marijuana is something that has been legalized. Not everybody is crazy about this, especially if you don't want your kids to become curious about what that is, but that is a big deal. So among marijuana, of course, there's alcohol, there's gambling, tons of other vices that we may not necessarily want our kids to get involved in, but if your child is a bit of a rebel and you don't want them to dabble into that, well, that is going to be a major con on the list, which is why it's con number 1. Con number 2 is not all areas in Las Vegas are created equal, and I have to further explain this one. Now, there are some really beautiful communities in Las Vegas, but of course, when you have beauty, on the other side of beauty is not so beautiful. So there are parts of Las Vegas, especially the older ones, or if you become too central towards the Strip, they can be a little dangerous. So around those areas, you really need to watch your kids. My husband does say I am a bit of a helicopter mother, but rightfully so, because there are some bad parts in Las Vegas. So that's why it's con number 2. Con number 3 is Las Vegas really can be expensive, especially if you have to take the whole family. So if there's ever a venue you need to take your kids to where it requires you to buy a whole separate ticket for them, it really does add up, because unlike pro number 6, where there's a lot of places that give you discounts, but there's also a lot of places that don't. So your pocketbook may not necessarily thank you for that one. Con number 4 is Las Vegas can have some really extreme weather. So we really can have some great mild weather depending on the season, but when we're talking about the summer and the winters, it can get either really, really hot or it can get really, really cold. So if you have kids who really have a hard time acclimating to severe weathers, this one might be a big deal for you. Con number 5, now this is a big deal because if you have kids with asthma or breathing disorders, you may want to reconsider moving to Las Vegas solely because of this reason. We have some major allergy and pollen issues here in Las Vegas, particularly because of the mulberry tree, the European olive tree, and the ash tree, which tend to bloom during the springtime. These particular seasons, depending on when these trees are in bloom, will actually make a kid's breathing very difficult. So unless you have a high-grade filtration breathing system or they don't have any breathing problems at all, this one can be a major con on your list. And con number 6, which really should have been my con number 1 now that I think of it, is the school system here really is not great. So the Clark County School District is among one of the lowest rating school districts in the entire United States. And a lot of this has to do because of 2 reasons. The first reason is there really is no accountability. And the second reason is the school does not genuinely care if a kid has passing grades to get to the next grade. So per the school district, which is Clark County, they will actually just pass your kid on to the next grade, whether they earned it or not. Now that may be a pro to some people, but on my list for my kid, that is a definite con. Now, how I have actually combated this was instead of my son going to a public school that belongs to the Clark County School District, he actually goes to a charter school, which is not part of that. It is actually funded by the state, which means the curriculum is completely different. So that was my video on the pros and cons of raising a family here in Las Vegas. I hope you found it valuable and informative. So if you have any questions about moving to Las Vegas or its surrounding areas in the near future, all my contact information is in the description below. You guys can feel free to reach out at any time. You guys know I love hearing from you. So until next time, see you in the next video.